Do you believe that love can be seen, even when not a single word is spoken? In a world full of spotlights and tight schedules, sometimes the most genuine love shines through the smallest things. A glance, a light touch, or the instinct to protect without needing a reason. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jikook Moments. Today, we're diving deeper into the relationship between Jimin and Jungkook, not through words, but through their actions that never fail to make our hearts flutter. From meaningful silences to reflexive gestures that reveal just how deeply they care for one another, this video will help you see things you might have missed, but were always there. For those of us who've followed their journey through the years, it's clear there's something between Jimin and Jungkook that transcends words. In many instances, especially during tough times, Jungkook's care for Jimin goes far beyond ordinary friendship. One of the most striking examples happened during Are You Sure?, when Jimin fell mildly ill. Instead of waiting on the sidelines, Jungkook chose to stay by his side. His demeanor was gentle and full of concern, rarely seen on screen. He made sure Jimin was comfortable, stayed close to him, even prayed in front of some stones for his speedy recovery. That small gesture spoke louder than any words. At such a young age, under the watchful eyes of cameras, how many people would take the time to pray sincerely, unless that person meant the world to them? Jungkook didn't just show concern, he showed devotion. The way he exists around Jimin feels so natural, like that's exactly where he belongs. He doesn't act like just a friend, he acts like someone who loves. And what makes this even more compelling? This isn't a one-time event. It's a consistent pattern in their interactions. Every time they're together, Jungkook's body seems to respond instinctively to Jimin's presence. He protects, watches, and gravitates toward him without being prompted. There's no script, no performance. Just a natural instinct to care. It's these small, quiet moments that make many Jikookers believe that their bond goes far beyond friendship. Jungkook doesn't need to say, "I love you," because every action already speaks that truth. From shielding Jimin from scratches to willingly taking small hits himself, Jungkook's care is real. In so many instances, even when Jimin is just playing with an object and accidentally touches himself, Jungkook immediately reacts. He even asked Jimin to hit him first, to make sure the item wasn't painful. In another moment, Jungkook lightly hit Jimin, then hit himself to ensure it didn't hurt. No one asked him to do that. He did it on his own, because Jimin matters to him. That kind of care isn't typical between friends. It's the kind of affection that comes from love. Jungkook always checks in on Jimin. Is he okay? Is something bothering him? Is there danger around? His reflexes change whenever Jimin is near. This isn't an act. This is real. Fans who've followed them for years can't help but notice the pattern. The games, the jokes, the playful pushes, all end with a quick glance from Jungkook to make sure Jimin is okay. This isn't performance. It's habit. In Are You Sure? Before they went skiing, there was one small but telling moment. Jungkook walked up to Jimin just to check if his helmet was properly secured. It seemed simple, but it was pure care. He didn't laugh or brush it off. He took that responsibility personally. Some may call such moments fan service. But when these behaviors repeat for years, it's hard to dismiss them as coincidence. It becomes a pattern. Jungkook is always looking out for Jimin, ensuring he's safe and comfortable, in ways that are subtle, yet powerful. And often, the impact of those moments can be seen in Jimin's reaction. He's never surprised. He accepts it as something normal. That shows how often Jungkook does this, and how naturally their bond has formed. One of the most special things about their relationship is the way they communicate, almost wordlessly. Many people believe it's all part of a show. But there's a big difference between something scripted and something that comes from the heart. Every touch, every glance, every close moment between them feels like the world only belongs to the two of them. When two people are acting, you can see the effort to impress. But when two people are truly connected, they don't need a plan. Jimin and Jungkook don't seek attention. They seek each other, because that's just how they are. Their closeness isn't acting. It's habit. Their body language speaks a dialect only they understand. They don't have to say, "I love you," because they already say it in every move. The way they sit closer, touch each other without hesitation, or share meaningful smiles. These are all deep forms of communication. This isn't something you can fake. And this level of closeness isn't found among every group member, not even the closest friends. Their relationship holds emotional weight that even outsiders can feel. Anyone who watches them without bias can see there's something more than friendship here. This isn't about public declarations. It's about naturally repeated gestures that communicate love, care, and commitment. Jungkook has never explicitly stated he wants to take care of Jimin, but he does, repeatedly. Even while joking around, he ensures Jimin isn't hurt. If he hits himself too to check. If Jimin is holding something potentially painful, Jungkook asks him to try it on him first. That's protection born from love. And what's equally important is how Jimin responds. He doesn't laugh it off or find it strange. He understands. He accepts. In fact, he often shows the same level of concern for Jungkook, watching his emotions even when no one else does. This is a two-way relationship, full of attention and care, not always seen in regular friendships. In the end, their relationship speaks for itself. They don't need declarations or public validation. What they have is a deep, pure connection, something only built by two people who have been through so much together. And as anyone paying attention can see, this isn't just a story of two best friends. It's the story of two hearts protecting, loving, and speaking through their actions. There are quiet moments between them that are somehow the loudest. When the cameras aren't rolling, or when they're lost in their own little world. Just Jimin and Jungkook, softly laughing, sharing glances, understanding each other. In that silence, there's a language more honest than 1,000 words. You see Jungkook subtly tilting his head just to catch Jimin's gaze from a softer angle. Or syncing his steps with Jimin's without being asked. That's love that doesn't need declarations. Not just in joy, their bond shows in sorrow too. When Jimin is under pressure or quietly crying backstage, Jungkook is the first to notice. He doesn't ask loudly, but he'll sit beside him, hold his hand, or gently pat his back. That's enough to let Jimin know he's not alone. The world can be deafening, but Jungkook is always his peaceful place. Likewise, when Jungkook feels overwhelmed or nervous, Jimin seems to know exactly when to approach without making him feel vulnerable. There's a concert moment where Jungkook appears uneasy, and without many words, Jimin places a calming hand on his shoulder, simple, quiet, but full of meaning. As if to say, I'm here. Don't worry. In a life ruled by schedules and spotlights, they've created a small space where emotions can breathe. What makes their relationship so unique is its consistency. This isn't a love that's loud or dramatic, but a love that's calm, rooted, and grows through everyday life. As they grow older, they grow together, in career, maturity, and closeness. And though they've never explicitly stated the nature of their bond, the connection is clear. Like a fine thread linking two hearts. No need to draw it, it's simply felt. Even during group interviews or variety shows, if you look closely, the same patterns appear. Jungkook turns to Jimin before answering something. Or Jimin interrupts just to defend Jungkook when he's unfairly targeted. They're not just stage partners, they're emotional companions. And maybe that's what makes their relationship so touching. They're not trying to prove anything to the world. They're just being themselves. And in that authenticity, their love finds space to grow, thrive, and be felt by anyone who looks closely enough. Because in the end, love isn't about who declares it the loudest, it's about who shows up consistently. And in Jimin and Jungkook's lives, each other's presence is a constant that never fades. They may have never explicitly said, I love you. But we know, true love doesn't need to be shouted. It just needs to be there. To understand. To care. And that's exactly what they've done, every moment, for years. If you also feel that their relationship is something more than friendship, you're not alone. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for more meaningful Jikook moments that warm our hearts. See you in the next video, because their story will always be worth telling again.